Halloween now becoming more politically correct as college campuses try and dictate what students can and cannot dress up as. Like Wesleyan University putting up these posters asking if your costume is offensive, but should colleges be the authority on Halloween costumes? Here now to weigh in on that and react is conservative millennial vlogger Allie Beth Stuckey. Allie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So a couple issues at hand here. One is that the conversation begins with what exactly is offensive and who determines what is offensive.
Right. Yes, exactly. I actually made my own flowchart. I think it would be really helpful for most colleges to be able to hand out. It's kind of complicated, so I'll break it down for you. Basically, do you want to wear a costume? Yes, no. Do what you want. I think that should be where the conversation starts, nowhere else. Like you said, we kind of have two issues at hand. One, that we're even having a conversation about the offensiveness of Halloween costumes. And the second issue is that universities are initiating these conversations. And we continue to see this on college campuses, that professors, administrators, liberal-leaning students are dominating the conversation about culture so that no one is allowed to speak up and suggest that maybe possibly it's a bit absurd that we spend days on end talking about hurt feelings perpetuated by a costume.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the examples. Specifically this one, it says, is your costume offensive? Checklist, and there's some contact numbers here that you can actually, 5 officials' contact info posted for students to ask whether or not their costume is offensive. Ask them, get their opinion. And then this is from St. Thomas. It says cultural appropriation. What is it and why is it bad? So you can look at that. And then there's Santa Barbara Flyers that says they're announcing a workshop on cultural appropriation. And then to Northern Arizona, where they said, we are a culture, not a costume. And this is not okay, with examples of what they say is not okay. You're in school. You're supposed to kind of broaden your horizons. You're supposed to be learning from each other. But that's just not the case anymore.
Right. What these colleges are doing, even more than creating a safe space culture that is perpetuating adolescence and a sense of entitlement, they are stifling the individual rather than allowing students to make their individual choices, which is, again, what college is for. They are becoming the moral arbiters, telling them what is right, what is wrong. They are almost manipulating students into an oversensitivity that is fueled by liberal groupthink. And as we know, groupthink is antithetical to intellectual growth, which I think is something that universities are supposed to be promoting.
Yeah, and also the arbiter of humor, you said. Who finds what funny?
Exactly. The line between humor and so-called cultural appropriation, which I'm not even sure what exactly that means, is subjective, and it should be. Universities don't need to be inserting themselves, telling you what is objectively right, what is objectively wrong, what's funny, what's not. That's not their place. Let it be up to the individual students to make their own decisions and to suffer consequences if they don't get invited to a certain Halloween party. That's perfectly fine. It's not professors or administrators' place.
Yeah, no. All right. Thank you so much, Allie. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Heather.